Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. We are back from NYC, back from the Galaxy S5 event. It's a Droid Life Show, episode 51. I'm your host, Kellen. With me, Tim, Kyle, and Eric. Everybody say hi real quick.
How's it going, guys? Tim here.
Hey, it's Eric.
Hey, Kyle here for the second week in a row.
Yes, 2 weeks in a row.
You must have done something right.
Big milestone. Doesn't get any better
Fans
than
wanted
this.
it, we're giving them more.
So, yeah, the big topic on hand this week, obviously, Galaxy S5. So lots of stuff went down while we were at the event. All sorts of good things and bad things, maybe. We've definitely got some reactions we want to run through. And assuming we have time left after all the S5 talk, we want to maybe talk about the Galaxy Fit a little bit. Motorola teasing a new Moto X and a smartwatch, and Sony's new Xperia Z2 devices, which actually sound pretty decent. And we've got some apps and games, and then hopefully we will get a reader Q&A in at the end. So let's talk Galaxy S5 real quick. Tim and I were in NYC at a sort of satellite launch event, since we didn't go to Barcelona, obviously. And we watched the keynote with you guys via stream, but then we had a chance to get our hands on the device, all that stuff. And it's got a 5.1-inch Full HD Super AMOLED display, Snapdragon 801 processor, which is confirmed, by the way. Qualcomm did announce that. 2 gig of RAM, a 16-megapixel camera, records 4K, all the other goodies in there, and then they also tossed in a fingerprint reader and a heart rate monitor or sensor, and then they put on a new sort of back finish on it. It's sort of this dotted, textured almost finish, which definitely does not look as cheesy or cheap as Galaxy devices in the past. It's more of a soft touch, kind of like the original Nexus 7, if you will. So it's coming in April, obviously going everywhere to every carrier imaginable. Yeah. And we've got 4 colors. White and black will be in the US for sure. And then there's also going to be a blue and really nasty looking gold at some point.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's ugly. So that's kind of the general sort of announcement there. Oh, and TouchWiz has been pretty polished up, I would say, from the Galaxy S4 and Note 3 even. It looks a lot better, at least in my opinion. It just looks a lot, well, it's obviously flatter because that's the the design idea of the now. But yeah, so let's just go around and get everyone's initial reaction. I'll just start with Tim. Since you were there with me, I'd love to just know, now that you've been back from there for a day or two and we've sort of talked about it, what are your thoughts now on the Galaxy S5?
I'm still a little jet lagged, but
Jet lag.
let's see. What do I think? I don't think it's as lackluster as people are making it out to be. I do realize that it's not at least a spec bumps like we were hoping to see. I mean, usually Samsung pulls out all the stops, and we were expecting QHD display, capital QHD, and we were just expecting some super beast of a device. But having actually felt the device, feel it, have it in hand, see how it kind of performs, for like 20 minutes. I'm really excited. I think the camera is a major step in the right direction. You know me, I love cameras, and this one seems to be legit. And the camera, for me, at least, makes up for the fact that it doesn't have some super high-res display. I mean, that wasn't even really important to me, because then I would just worry about my battery life. I would worry about other performance issues just because the screen is drawing in so much power. Other than that, it feels light. I mean, the bezels are a little big. The fingerprint scanner is useless. Heart rate monitor, useless. Most of the features they threw in to kind of make it like a new Galaxy S device, I would call useless. But TouchWiz looks great. KitKat's there. Great camera. I'm kind of excited about it. Once we get some in the office to kind of review fully, then we'll really know what we're working with. But from my short time with it, I'm probably more excited than the average person who was like, pass or anything like that. So,
Yeah, Kyle, what were your thoughts on it?
I don't know. My views are kind of in alignment with a lot of Droid Life readers, I think. It was just a big disappointment for me. I don't know.
You have an S4 right now? Is that what you're using right now? Okay.
And incidentally, I'm selling it this week, but not because of the announcement. I'm getting a G2, but I don't know. I was planning to do that anyway. but I don't know. I kind of bought into the rumors that suggested it would be a lot more powerful than it ended up being. Especially the ones of the Snapdragon 805 processor and the QHD display, and especially the metal back. None of those panned out, obviously. So I was pretty sad to see the GS5 kind of be a minor step up from the 4 rather than a huge leap. Especially since I think Samsung's competitors are really putting out some compelling devices around this time. Sony especially, which we'll talk about in a little bit, I guess.
Yeah. Eric, what were your thoughts?
I actually seem to like it. I mean, granted, I was watching from afar on a pretty busy Monday. I have a lot of classes, but I was checking, you know, I was being a bad student and following live blogs during class. But I mean, I historically haven't been a huge Galaxy S fan, but I feel like, I don't know, I think I liked it. It looked good. I was a big fan of the textured back on the original Nexus 7.
Mm-hmm.
I think it looks terrible in gold. I mean, the Band-Aid comparison is just, there's no getting around that. But I don't know. I kind of liked it. I think it looked pretty good, and for not having it in my hand, I would definitely give it the benefit of the doubt and check it out before I'd flesh out some more opinions. But I don't know. I mean, I don't think I'm going to be buying a new phone anytime soon. So I mean, this one's definitely not going to make me drop my contract and pick it up for full price. But I think it looked pretty good.
Can you guys tell us a little bit about the sensors and how well they work? Did you get a chance to try them out yourself?
We did. Sorry, go for it.
Oh, so we did a quick video on it too, but it definitely took a couple tries, I think. So the first time we did the heart rate sensor, what did it have my heart rate at, like 182 beats per second or something?
Wow.
It was like high 170s, I thought, something like that.
Yeah, that was
really pumped to see the new S5, I guess.
And then the other 2 times or 3 or 4 times we did or whatever, it was down in the 70s or 80s, a lot more normal. But and a couple times it didn't work or it took really long, and it tells you not to move or talk during it. And we were probably not necessarily doing that, but so it's tough to tell. We were kind of talking about before we got on the show. How do you know if it's really that accurate unless you're like using a professional heart rate sensor or something and comparing them? It seemed okay. The fingerprint reader, it was. Well, so the units we were testing it already had somebody else's fingerprint recorded in there, or recorded, I guess you want to say. And so we couldn't necessarily test to like unlock or the PayPal stuff or any of that, but we could test the swiping on it, and it would give us an error if it read it right because it said we don't match up with the fingerprint, and usually it would just say like swipe again or swipe more down or your thumb across it. It seemed a little wonky, pre-production hardware and software obviously, but. I don't know, Tim, did you have any special thoughts on those? I thought they were, at this time anyway, I wasn't necessarily impressed.
I'm not impressed with any fingerprint sensor in 2014 or scanner that I need to actually swipe my thumb across. With Apple having the ability to just let people place their thumb on it and not do anything more, then if it doesn't do that, then I'm not impressed. Especially if you're going to like follow suit. Like really, Apple's going to release it, and then you're like, oh, okay, this is good, people like this apparently, so we're gonna do it, like, and then to make people actually
we're gonna do it worse.
Yeah. To me, it was just it's not that it didn't work or anything like that. I mean, I saw MK Marquez put up a video of it, and it was doing his finger just fine, and it seemed responsive enough. The heart rate monitor, yeah, who knows if it's accurate or not. I'm gonna touch on that here in a little bit later, but yeah, I mean, to me, they're just kind of worthless because I mean, I don't use a lock screen on my phone anyways, so I don't really need a fingerprint scanner or anything like that. So
yeah, they're I think they're a little gimmicky so far, but again, once we get final hardware, final software, we can really test those in house. Maybe then we'll kind of know what's going on there. So my thoughts on the Galaxy S5 are sort of, I feel like you could almost take it 2 ways. If you look at it in terms of contract upgrade cycles, a lot of people right now are coming from an S3, right? So they have an upgrade coming up if people still do upgrades. And those people, it's a massive jump forward. But if you're a tech guy or tech enthusiast, you go from an S4 to an S5. I can see why people are kind of doing this is really the Galaxy S4s comparisons. They're sort of throwing that out there. We didn't get, and a lot of that is maybe all of our faults for hype beasting that stuff with the Quad HD and the
Absolutely.
fingerprint sensor on the screen or whatever. The 805, and the 805, by the way, is there something there we just don't know? Why is the 805 not out yet and in devices? Why did Qualcomm out of nowhere just bring out this 801 that's just slightly bumped up? It's kind of weird, but so yeah, I would say I like the phone, but I also like the S4, and since they're fairly similar, except the S5 has a better feel to it just because it has that softer touch back and not the gross, greasy plastic. I also like where TouchWiz is going. It just seems a lot prettier and not so gnarly, and the camera UI is better, and I'm really excited, like Tim said, to test out the camera. But the display is essentially the same one we had last year. I mean, it's probably they've tweaked it to make it better, reproduce colors better, and all that stuff. But that's not necessarily a bump up. The camera, kind of. They didn't really put a massive battery in. Like the G2, I think, has a 3,300 milliamp hour battery or something, doesn't it? And this thing has 2,800, which is not small. It's just we're starting to see people go. I think the Z2, the Xperia Z2, has a 3,000 milliamp hour battery, which now seems to be like the number you need to hit. It's got 2 gig of RAM, whereas the Note 3 had 3 gig of RAM. I'm not sure why the drop there. Look, on paper and everything, it looks like a really nice phone, and in hand, it felt really nice. But yeah, if you wanted that whole wow factor, you wanted something like Quad HD and something they could just like go brag about afterwards, I don't necessarily know that we got that. It just looks like it's probably going to be another good Samsung product, and I don't know that it's gonna just be the ultimate phone ever created. It might be the best for now, but it's not something. I don't want to say that we just won't remember, but I don't know.
Go ahead, Eric.
Do you think this is a product of the Moto X, coming out and kind of, just halting the spec wars? Do you think that Samsung felt less pressure to throw all this junk in?
Samsung could care less probably what Motorola is doing. They're like, we sell as many phones in a day than they do a year, kind of thing. Like, whatever.
When your top-selling phone of all time is the Moto G, I don't think Samsung
They're
cares.
not worried about
Yeah.
There's a lot of talk.
So sad.
Well, there was rumors before. I mean, we've seen benchmarks. There's been rumors that there were 2 variants of the S5. There was one that had a 1080p display, and then, of course, there was one with a QHD display. That's why all this hype beasting was going on. That's why we were getting all pumped up. And now, apparently, the rumors are starting back up. There's apparently going to be a June release for the Galaxy S5 Prime or the F Series or whatever they were going to call it. But that wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. I feel like this is kind of just a device, because let's face it, Samsung has no problem releasing like reiterations of devices already out, like the S4 Zoom or S4 Active. Like, they have no reason not to just keep releasing devices, and no one's going to stop them, basically. So it really wouldn't surprise me if they're saving like QHD for next phone, along with the Snapdragon 805. So I have very high hopes. That the S5, the one we saw this week, was just something to keep sales alive until that major phone, the kind of next-gen stuff, is ready for launch. That's really how I see it.
Yeah, and I sort of have this obviously unconfirmed theory that I just rolls around in my mind every once in a while, that last year, since their sales numbers and some stuff didn't necessarily hit where everyone thought, Samsung's now going to do 3 big phones. So they did 2 for a couple years, and but now they pushed up the S5, so it's coming earlier than the S4 did last year. And then, so in a few months, they probably could release another phone, maybe this Prime thing or something. And then for the holiday season, maybe they'll go Note 4 or something. Obviously, that's just me speculating or whatever. But it wouldn't surprise me at all if this phone, actually, this Prime thing you guys are talking about, could potentially come out. With that said, that's going to piss everyone off. Like, if they do that and it comes out in June, you've got to be kidding me.
It'll piss off a lot of people that jumped on the S5, but those people that'll be angry will only be Android enthusiasts. Like, to the average customer that walks into a store, they hear the Galaxy S5, they know the Galaxy name by this point. They're not going to care. if another higher end one comes out down the line, they're not gonna.
2 months later.
Yeah, but, yeah, see, I don't know about that though. Like, if you look at people that own iPhones and they get a new iPhone or something, they go, I got the new iPhone 5. And I don't know how many times I've been out where somebody has a new phone and they go, is that the new iPhone? Or look, I got my new phone. And the Galaxy brand is probably it's getting to be as big as that. And if you said I have the new Galaxy, and 2 months later there's a new one, you don't have that bragging right anymore. I don't know, just those little things I don't think are good. But
people are used to getting burnt like that. I mean, that's the running joke. Like, you buy the newest thing, and then the next day you look in the news and, oh my God, there's something better. I mean, it's sort of a joke, but that's sort of the way it is. And whether maybe it won't even run Android. I know people are talking Tizen. I mean,
woof.
Who knows? Who knows? Because Samsung's very good. Samsung's really good at holding leaks. So
yeah, we didn't see the S5 leak until the day before, or no, the day of, right? The morning of, hours before.
Yeah. Well, it was like the night before, I think, right? Like some site posted up a review of it, because they were in Barcelona time.
Oh, that's right. They screwed up the time, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. So who knows? I wouldn't be shocked. I would be happy because, like I said, the S5 looks cool, but it's not the S5 I wanted. So I'll be happy if they release a new one.
If we get another one.
Yeah, if we get a new one. And if it runs Tizen, that would kind of suck. But again, it would not surprise me since all the gears are running Tizen.
If they came out and said, hey, here's the phone that you wanted, except that it runs Tizen. Oh, man.
That's Samsung's, that is their game plan speculation. That is their game plan to get people away from Android and Google and all that infrastructure. They're just like, okay, we're just going to give them the phone they want, except it has a different OS. Sorry about that. But here's the phone you wanted, though.
Yeah. Just riot in the streets.
Maybe you would. I probably wouldn't.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't care less. But man, I know a lot of our readers would just go ham in the comments.
Yes,
I can see it now.
Yeah.
Well, once they realize that Tizen doesn't have any of their favorite apps, of course.
Right. And then you have to maybe sideload them all if they'll even work.
Yeah.
Right, or have to use an emulator or something horrible like that.
Which would be terrible. Yeah. So yeah, we were there. We got our hands on it. Obviously, we got tons of videos up. The launch is in April, and we will, hopefully have a device for review before then, so you guys will know all there is to know about this thing. Then maybe you can decide, and hopefully by the time it launches, maybe we know more about this supposed Prime thing, so we can tell you to wait for the Prime device if it's actually real or not. That just seems like it's going to be a mess. So yeah, all carriers, right? We know it's coming. All the major U.S. ones have already confirmed it: Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, Sprint, even U.S. Cellular, and I think Metro PCS. So they've all confirmed we're getting it, and I think some of them have said April. I'd imagine it'll try to be everywhere at the same exact time. So we did ask though a poll, which we always do every time a big phone like this is released, and asked, "Are you buying the Galaxy S5?" And it is not pretty. 74%, almost 7,000 people said nope, not buying it. 17% said still deciding, and only 9% said yes. Those are not good numbers. I don't remember what the Galaxy S4 poll looked like last year. If I was a good blogger, I'd have that for you. But any thoughts on why people just aren't? Is it just because, like some of you guys said, it's just not the phone we were hoping for, or is everyone satisfied with their Moto X and G2 and Galaxy S4 and Note 3? So is it not a big enough jump up to make somebody want to get rid of those, devices they picked up in the last year?
Exactly. Yeah, I don't think it's a big enough jump for anyone to care. Take this into consideration. Last year, on March 15th, we ran a poll saying, are you buying the Samsung Galaxy S4? Because I'm an awesome blogger. 70% said no, they were not. And that was about 8,000 people. So, no one's ever happy. Let's face it.
No one is.
We're all jaded, and and all we want is Nexus devices apparently. So,
well, I think this is right after. I'm still keeping track of the OG crowd, in their upgrade cycle, and this is right after a lot of people. We told them, hey, the Moto X is a pretty good phone. If you're going to upgrade, you should Should probably use it on that. So I don't know. I feel like we get a lot of those answers are just because, they're like me. I got my phone for the next 2 years. But I feel like there's a strong contingent of people who are either waiting for the F series or not impressed. And that's why I think there's going to be so many upset people if Samsung messes with the F series at all, and it's not what we expected.
The Galaxy F-150.
Oh my
When you
god.
hear F series, all I can think is a Ford commercial. So yeah, it's coming. So we'll be talking probably more about it over the next month up until its release, and maybe you guys will change opinions after that. I don't know. So far though, definitely not a lot of excitement, and without the big Broadway event that we had last year and Radio City Music Hall and all that, it just seemed a little toned down. And we sort of mentioned that to Samsung people, and they said, it's just because you're at this smaller NYC thing, not in Barcelona, but there's something that just seems smaller about it. There wasn't the big song and dance. Yeah, we'll
Literally
see.
song and dance.
Yeah, literally, song and dance. So we'll see. Any last thoughts from any of you guys before we move out of here? That didn't take as long as I thought. That also means that maybe people really aren't excited. We don't have that much to say about it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, okay.
I think it said a lot that I wasn't really a Samsung guy coming up to this, and that I was kind of impressed by it. But then again, I didn't get to, play around with it. I don't have the S4 to, say, oh, it's not that much better. But I don't know.
To sell.
We'll see.
It's just kind of meh. In hand, it feels nice. It feels like an S4, but with a better backside. It's about the same size, so. I mean, if you're an S4 fan, it seems like it'll be a really nice phone to have. If you liked your S3, if anybody has an S3, it would probably be a really nice upgrade because it's a huge upgrade over the S3. So, but yeah, I guess maybe the big takeaway is if you have a phone from last year, this maybe doesn't, put it to shame, and so maybe it's not even worth an upgrade or something. Yeah. All right. Well, let's move out of there. Galaxy Fit. Well, so also at this event. We got to get our hands on the new Galaxy Gear. Sorry, they're not Galaxies. The Gear 2 and Gear 2 Neo, which I'm not gonna lie, Tim and I kind of ignored because they're just the Galaxy Gear but running Tizen. And
Well, they did change a few things, though, right? They moved the camera from the strap to the actual hardware now, so you can you can change the straps outright.
they did. So the Gear 2 has a camera and it's not. Yeah. So there's no more nipple, and you can change straps. And but the UI looks the same. It still only works with Samsung phones. Actually, the Neo was kind of cool because it feels a little bit lighter and a little more sports bandish. But yeah, we kind of did skip over those. But the Galaxy Fit, which is the Gear Fit. I keep wanting to call these Galaxy. It's the Gear Fit. So the Gear Fit is their fitness band that has a curved AMOLED display. And people were kind of buzzing around the event we were at with excitement about this Gear Fit thing, and we played with it, and the screen's actually pretty responsive. You can change wallpapers on it. The colors looked really good, I thought, just because they're AMOLED, so they really popped out of there. You can reject or take calls. You can get notifications through it, and it obviously tracks. It also does heart rate, and it does steps, and it's supposed to be sort of a fitness band. It wasn't bad. I just don't know that I'm ready to have a thick sort of lumpy band across my wrist. Like I still wear this stupid Nike Fuel band, and the Fit I would say sticks up half an inch above that even. So you're getting this extra bulk on there, but it does have a touchscreen, swipeable. It seemed to work well. There was only one button on it. Maybe cool. It's one of those things that I don't know what to think about yet. It's one of those that I really just want to have for a good week or two to see if I could get down with it. But do you guys have any thoughts on the Gear Fit? It's Samsung's sort of take on this fitness band craze that's going on.
I don't think fitness bands really need AMOLED displays and all this shiny crap. Like, just give me something that works with all of my devices. Who are you? Like, don't they want these things to sell? Jesus.
Oh yeah, so I didn't mention that, but this is, I'd assume it's only for Samsung devices too. Like there's a Gear Fit app, just like the Gear, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
While I respect people wanting more attention brought to the Gear 2 and the Gear 2 Neo, I will have to decline and say that those watches, I actually liked the nipple on the Galaxy Gear. Call me old-fashioned, but I like the design of the Galaxy Gear. I liked it. I'm sorry. I know that it really didn't do much, but I thought the design was nice. The Gear 2, yeah, it was thinner, definitely lighter. The idea that you can change out straps is fantastic. Good on you, Samsung. The placement of the camera was a lot cooler. I think it actually, you didn't have to hold it at such an awkward position. It kind of take pictures. It was better. As for the Gear Fit, again, I don't think any type of fitness band needs AMOLED displays or a color display at that. And I also like, why I like watches, old school watches, is because I don't need to turn on the screen to see what time it is. I just have to lift my wrist, and every time they would lift their wrist, it would take kind of a second to turn the screen on, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, whatever, dude. And yeah, so I'm not really impressed with their new Tizen-powered mobile wearable devices. I'm kind of getting out of the wearable stuff, everyone's getting into it, and now I'm getting out of it. I want the Razer Naboo, and
That's
I'm
all
probably
they need to get on that, man.
That's all you care about. You're just like, give me Razer Naboo. I don't care about anything else.
It has everything that I'd want, and it just seems good. It's probably not going to be it's too overpriced. I don't know how much the Fit is going to be. They didn't announce pricing for that, did they?
No, they didn't.
Yeah, and that scares me.
Yeah,
that thing is going to be $200. I am almost certain. It's got color display, and it's got a 2-day battery at best.
Man, if they go over 200, if they go 250, that thing's dead in the water.
Well, 250, they'd have to be crazy.
They would have to be crazy. What was the Galaxy Gear when it first launched?
350.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was it 350? No, it was. It was
300 at least.
299.
300.
Was it? That's so
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe it was.
Yeah,
it was 300. You're right. That is wild. All right, so Tim's a Gear Fit hater.
Gear
Eric, you have a Fitbit. What do you think about this Gear Fit thing?
Still rocking it.
You don't have an infection in your arm or something from wearing it?
No, I don't. Yeah, like I said, what's it called? Fitbit said, I kind of wrote in my review, I was like, there are reports of people getting rashes and stuff, but I'm pretty sure it's just undiagnosed allergies, and that's pretty much exactly what Fitbit said in their press release. So, I don't know. As much as I really liked the original, what's it called? Fuel Band, I think they hit the display perfectly. It reminds you of an old school baseball scoreboard. It kind of gets you in the sports mood. It works well. If they had figured out a way to do Motorola's the screen comes on when you lift your wrist up and look at it, it would be a great device. I just don't think, I agree with Tim, I don't think a fitness band needs an AMOLED display. I wouldn't feel comfortable going to the gym with that. That's a pretty good looking display. The colors popped off of that thing. I would feel so nervous taking that out and being active with it.
You wouldn't want to screw it up, scratch it.
Yeah, and it's what? It's 2.5 inches of screen, an inch and
it was a nice size.
It's almost 2, I think. Yeah.
So I would just be I would be constantly not wanting to, get it, injured. If I'm up there playing baseball in the batting cages and I take a baseball off the display and it's done, I don't know.
Yikes.
Yeah.
I think all of the apps and the stuff that it does is a step in the right direction, but I feel like Samsung was really trying to stand out, and they're kind of known for their AMOLED displays. So let's throw one of those in there. Let's make it curved. Because that's going to be the future of displays, I guess, is curved. And I mean, I appreciate what they did, but I feel like we've got a few more iterations before it really becomes something that we're going to want to use.
Yeah, where it doesn't stick up an inch from your wrist.
Yeah,
it might be.
And that was the problem with the original Moto Active. The original Moto Active worked great as a watch, but that thing was like a brick.
It was thick. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It was. Kyle, any thoughts on this Gear wearable thing?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I applaud Samsung for making a better looking device than Huawei, but that's not very hard to do, I guess. Apparently, if anyone saw that leaked image. But I agree with everyone's thoughts on the AMOLED display being inappropriate for a Fit band. It doesn't make a lot of sense, and Samsung would never do this. But I feel like e-ink or at the very most like IPS LCD is better for that kind of device. But I almost think that Samsung should have made the Fit the new gear.
Mm-hmm.
I just love the look of the curved AMOLED. You mentioned it being thick, Kellen, but give it an iteration or two, and I'm sure it'll be much better. I think that's definitely the direction Apple's going to go with their smartwatch, though, and it looks so futuristic and neat from afar, at least. I haven't had a chance to handle it, but I don't know. I guess it's going to take some time.
Yeah, I think for a first-gen product, it's a good start. But yeah, I think it needs to get slimmer. The battery life needs to get better, and they need to maybe create some more functionality for it or something. But
yeah, agreed.
Yeah. All right, so enough Gear Fit talk there. Oh, actually, just one little funny thing from the event. Everyone kept walking around that was working at it from Samsung saying, yeah, the Gear Fit, it didn't leak. Like, no one knew about it. They were so proud that the Gear Fit didn't leak. Yeah, I don't know how. We heard that at least 3 or 4 times. Yeah, the Gear Fit, it didn't leak. Pretty funny. So Mobile World Congress is pretty much wrapped up now, but earlier in the week, Motorola sat down with a panel of executives. A panel of Motorola executives sat down and just kind of did a Q&A on the status of the business since this whole Lenovo thing. And they dropped a couple of quotable or headline-worthy quotes. One being new Moto X coming late summer, and that's apparently what they said was new Moto X. We don't have anything to announce, but hint late summer. So they called it Moto X, so maybe it'll just be the all-new Moto X. So I think somebody made that joke earlier. They also said a smartwatch is coming this year. That could be end of the year, could be middle of the year. We don't really know on that one. So kind of cool. New Moto X and potentially a smartwatch because everyone has to make a smartwatch these days. Yeah. I don't know. What do you guys think? Are you excited about that? I feel kind of dumbed down, or not dumb, but I don't want to say saddened by. But Motorola just because Lenovo is about to own them. It's not that I don't care, but it doesn't seem to be the same. Although I should care about this one, right? Because this phone's still gonna be the Motorola we like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep the faith, my man. There's no reason to, get too saddened yet. I loved the Moto X. That was my phone of the year last year, and cha-ching, and I loved it. And so I'm really excited for there to be a new rendition of it. I'm really hoping they move away from dual cores. I respect their decision to, stop the spec wars, but the fact of the matter is, if you pick up a Moto X today, that phone is not going to last you 2 years on contract, and people are still buying them, and this saddens me. Only for the fact that the screen it's tiny, it's 720p, highly saturated, camera's crap. Like, there's just a lot of things that we're lacking on.
Look at you turning on the Moto X.
Hey, I like the Moto X. Performance is good, nothing wrong with that, but there was just some things that Moto needs to come back to, fix up, and that would be like the ultimate device. I love active display, touchless control, all that. So there's a lot of fantastic points to the Moto X that they can bring back in 2014 and even make better, like cameras, faster processor, please. Like, just, I'll spend an extra $20 if you throw in a quad core, 2 gigs RAM, all this fun stuff.
An extra 20.
Well, even if they Qualcomm announced that the 600 series, the quad core, or no, that's an octa core that we wrote about yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like just considered kind of mid-range. Like, if they just took that and threw that in there, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, because the 600 was a beast when it first came out.
Yeah.
That was before the 800, yeah.
And this is kind of like a new, refreshed version of that. If they just took that, man, I'd be excited.
I don't care what
That
I don't
price
care what the name is. Like, I just want it to actually perform. Like, have like some good specs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and if they
Well-
throw in that XA computing system like they did, I'm sure it'll be great. So, something more than dual core though, please.
If it has, decent specs, but debuts for retail of around, like 350 on contract, that would be great. I think. I thought they really floundered the launch with, the Moto X launch by, pricing it so high off contract, and even on contract. I think didn't it debut for like 199 or something?
Yep, 199.
That's insanely high for a dual core device. So and this one with a 720p display. So they really need to rethink their pricing structure this time around.
Yeah, and I think they've said a couple of times, and I think they said it again during this panel, that price is still a really big deal for them, and they're going to try to make phones continue to drop in price and all this stuff. So it's a big focus. Yeah, I'm not sure why they did that at the launch, because within months they just kept slashing the price and price. I mean, that phone's only been out since August, right? I'm not going to do the math on that. That's what, 6, 7, 8 months, and it's already down to basically $350 off contract or whatever they've been selling it for. So yeah, they just kind of screw up there. As far as the watch goes, the only so the phone, they didn't give us anything except it's coming late summer. As far as the watch goes, they said we're going to focus on consumer issues like style and battery life. So where Samsung can't figure either of those out, Motorola is apparently going to try. So hopefully they can do that.
They've already had their first iteration of it. The Moto Active is already, they already fell on their faces with that. So, they did a lot of good things right with the Moto Active too.
Yeah.
For as ugly as that thing was, it worked really well. So
It did work well.
I'm really interested to see. I was really excited when they said that they were thinking about making another watch. I was really pumped.
Yeah. So I've been still wearing the Qualcomm Talk, and I still need to do a review on that. I still think it's my favorite smartwatch because it just does the simple things that I need it to. Like, I don't need it to be a camera and do all this really fancy crap and be a heart rate monitor. I just need it to show me notifications here and there, show me some weather and some other things like that, and last a week, and it does that. So hopefully Motorola can take a lot of that. And speaking of how you guys said Super AMOLED or AMOLED screens on the Fit make no sense, people need to start adopting Mirasol displays for wearables. The Mirasol display in the Qualcomm Talk is amazing. It seriously lasts so long, and it's touchscreen and all that. But anyways,
It's so genius.
it is.
Yeah, it's
Too bad they
one
can't
better
sell-
than the Pebble.
Yeah, Mirasol's better than the Pebbles E-Ink or whatever the hell we're calling their display. It's color and it's touch, so. I don't know who's adopting them, though. Qualcomm's trying to get people to, and so far no one is taking them up on it.
HTC
Well, it was-
apparently, hello.
Oh, yeah, that's right. HTC's
They have
gonna
a wearable
make,
coming out by Christmas.
forgot about
they
that.
say.
Everyone's got a damn
Aerosol.
wearable.
Yeah.
Okay. So HTC could do it then. That'd be great if they're still around then.
Yeah. No. Shout out to HTC.
Well, and so there was also a rumor, I don't know if this was this weekend or Monday, since we were traveling, my timeline's all screwed up, but Google is apparently making a smartwatch now with LG. Previously it was Motorola, and now it's apparently switched to LG, although I don't think we know any details on that. Oh no, we know they might launch the
Google now.
platform for it in March or April, and then it'll...
March.
Yeah, March, and then we'll
Yep.
see the watch in...
At I.O.
At I.O., which is June, right? June 25th or something. 16th, 15th, somewhere in June. Yeah. All right, so yeah.
Leave it at that.
So we could apparently get, well, we now have 2 Samsung smartwatches and a wearable. Huawei has that thing you mentioned, Kyle. Motorola is going to make one.
Sorry.
HTC is going to make one. LG is going to make one with Google. And LG already has a fitness band coming out. There's going to be so many wearables. And we're all going to be wearing Razer Naboos.
Boo. Boo.
Yeah. All right, let's talk quickly about Sony's Xperia Z2s real quick, because it was kind of the only other major headline out of MWC. So Sony announced Xperia Z2 and Z2 tablet, and everyone sort of expected them to. And the Z2, it just sounds like a beast. 5.2-inch Full HD triluminous display, 2.3 gigahertz Qualcomm Snapdragon 801 processor, 3 gig of RAM. Their 20.7 megapixel camera, which sounds like it's probably similar to the one that's in the Z1S and Z1 Compact. 16 gigabytes of storage, LTE bands all over the place, and a massive 3,200 milliamp hour battery. And it looks like they slimmed down some, like the side bezels for sure. You know, Sony still does the big chin and big sort of top forehead of the device. Obviously, it's waterproof because they've been doing that for a while. It sounds like a really, really nice device. And so I think it was announced hours before Samsung did their thing. And things like the 3 gig of RAM and the camera, it must be throwing people off or something a little bit more, and that's why they're hating all over Samsung. But I get the feeling people are sort of excited about this Z2. Not sure. What do you guys think about this? Obviously, we keep making the joke that if it ever comes to the U.S., I get the feeling it might come timely. I don't know.
Look at all those LTE bands. I have faith.
Look at all those bands.
Again, I would like to state, how can anyone talk crap on Samsung for not changing their design when Sony released a device years ago and it looks exactly like this phone? They haven't changed anything ever, and it bores me. It bores me to death. And I'm ready for them to seriously go to any type of drawing board. I don't care if it's chalk, felt tip pen, any type of thing where someone can draw just a new design for a phone and just be like, let's just move on. I get that I'm sure it's cool. I played with the Compact a little bit. You know, the power button on the side is great. But I'm just bored. I hate their skin. I hate almost everything about Sony devices. The specs are great. Don't get me wrong. Specs are really nice. But I'm not impressed. It just looks like the same thing. So that's it.
It does.
That's all I gotta say.
And I mean, once again, like we've been talking about coming up to this, you know, they can make something awesome, you know, they can throw all the specs they want in it, but if they don't sell it over here, I don't know what they're expecting, you know. I just don't, once again, I don't understand what Sony is doing.
It says launching globally in March. That's what they said.
Yeah.
I don't know that they've actually announced any partners, but that's what they said.
Globally might mean AT&T, maybe T-Mobile. I will be absolutely shocked if it comes to Verizon.
I think it's up for pre-order in the UK now. I don't think it's up for pre-order in the US, so
we'll see.
Good sign.
Yeah. I'm sort of with you a little bit, Tim, because everyone just crapped all over the Galaxy S5 because it's all the same, and this Z2 looks just like the Z1. It looks like that. It looks like it maybe slimmed a little bit.
The skin hasn't even changed.
The skin has not changed.
Come on, it's boring. And it's such a terrible skin. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, and you could argue that Samsung shouldn't really go for a big change because they sell millions and millions and millions of devices. Sony, on the other hand, with this design, hasn't sold probably even 1 million. That's not fair. Who knows? We'll see. Hopefully it comes here and Sony becomes a player. We need another player, I think.
Sure. So we need someone to take over HTC's spot. So
I'll do it.
Well, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
You'll do it. Actually,
now.
I'm in. Let's do it. They also announced the Z2 tablet. The Z2 tablet is just a big version of the Z2 phone. Same processor, 3 gig RAM, 8 megapixel camera though. And it's 6.4 millimeters thin, which is kind of crazy thin, by the way.
So thin.
So yeah, that happened. Z2. We'll care when it gets announced somewhere here, and hopefully soon. Do you guys want to go Q&A or apps?
You're the boss, man. You tell us.
Tim?
Huh?
Tim's the Q&A guy.
Let's do, well, we can shoot through these apps real quick and then finish it off with Q&A. So if you guys want to get your Q&As in right now while we're doing our apps, now would be the time to do so. If someone can provide them with a link, I'd appreciate it. The first app, yeah, anyone? Eric, Kevin?
Yeah, hold on. I got it.
Kyle. All right, so the first app I want to talk about is, if you think the Galaxy S5's heart rate monitor is so awesome and you just wish your phone did it too, newsflash, it can. There's an app on Google Play called Instant Heart Rate. What it does is it turns on your LED, you throw your finger on your camera lens, and voila, it reads your heart rate, which is essentially exactly what the S5 does. It monitors the pulse, which is inside your finger, and so that's how they are able to do that. It's called instant heart rate. There's probably a few apps that do it. That's just the one I tried. I'm going to be writing this app up actually tomorrow, in a whole like Scamsung exclusive post.
Scamsung. This was also one of the funny things from our time in New York. There was the big deal, right, that it could do heart rates. And
Heart rate.
we wrote it up, and we did a little video, a little song and dance ourselves, and people in the comments went, "Are you kidding me? There's apps that do this right now, the exact same way."
Yeah, he's like, I've been doing this on my Droid X. Like, what is the big deal? And I was like, oh man, because you see those apps in Google Play, and you're like, whatever. Like, I don't ever need to check my heart rate on my phone. So, but
nor
now
do you
that
trust
it's like,
it to like
exactly.
do it correctly, yeah.
And now, and then I did it on the S5, and I had like around a 70 some odd beats per minute, and then I did it on this app back at the hotel room, and I was around 70 some odd, and I was like, well, yeah, must be legit. So I'm gonna be writing it up tomorrow, and I'm going to call Samsung out for what they are. Anyways, so instant heart rate. If you're really jealous of the Galaxy S5, don't be. That's my point. My next app, I'm pretty sure I haven't talked about this one, but it's called Trawl. Traal. It is an app on Google Play. Naturally, it's a game. And it's like a dungeon crawler, except there's no point to the game whatsoever. It's fantastic. All you do, you're in control of a green little character. You're walking through a level, and you try not to be spotted by creatures. You collect a scroll, but again, you don't need to collect the scroll because there's no point. There's no lives. There's no nothing. I mean, they can kill you, but you just start over again. So it's really great. It's for someone who doesn't want the stress that comes with a lot of other games that you can find on Google Play, such as Flappy Bird. So Trawl, Traal. I believe it's completely free on Google Play. No ads, no IAPs, no nothing. The developer was just like, have at it. It's a great time. So, and I wrote it up too. Trawl. Traal. I spelled it wrong, so there it is for everybody.
Troll. It does sound like troll.
Yeah, it sounds like troll. So, Trawl, and that is my last app. Please go check it out. I'd very much appreciate it. Thank you.
So I just wanted to toss out that the Google Now launcher is now available on Google Play. So we figured this thing was coming, right? An official launcher. It originally launched with the Nexus 5 and KitKat, but it was a Nexus 5 exclusive. Obviously, people pulled it from the ROM and ported it to other devices, and it worked for the most part. And it couples with Google Search. And then there was an update a couple weeks back that changed the name to Google Now Launcher. We also noticed that if you switched over to it on a device, it tried to import settings and stuff from an old launcher, which sort of gave us proof that it was coming to Google Play. And then today it randomly showed up. So the Google Now Launcher is now out. It's free, obviously. It works on Nexus devices and Google Play Edition devices. At least you can install it officially through Google Play that way. I put it on my Moto X and it ran just fine. Tim and I tested, I believe, on Galaxy S4 and something else, G-Flex or something. It didn't work, but other people said it might work. So
some people got it running up on their G2s and all this stuff. So
yeah.
It works on mine. I'm running a custom ROM though, so
okay.
I got the update though.
Exclusive.
Okay.
I sideloaded the Google Now application, and that installed fine. And then I tried to open Google Now, and it said I needed a Google Search update. I went to the Play Store, and that wasn't there. So I don't know. I feel like I'm halfway working.
You're halfway there.
You're halfway there.
So yeah, it's there. It's free. And big Google Plus update, by the way, today. It's not a new app or anything, but they added all sorts of new photo editing tools and things. It's actually really nice if you're using Google Plus.
I would like to just say that I messed around with that. The new Google Plus update for 5 minutes, couldn't figure out how to edit a photo in there whatsoever.
Really?
Yeah. I went to Photos, which just took me to the gallery, and then I
tap on a photo.
I tapped on a photo, and it just thought that I wanted to share it, and I was like, no, I want to edit it first, but I could not figure out. I'm sure it's easy, and I just missed it, but I couldn't do it, and that's sad. So.
Yeah.
And then you went back to Facebook.
Yes. Well, no, I just went back to Snapseed for my photo editing needs.
And it's basically Snapseed now, fully built in, so.
Which is awesome.
Your little HDR scapes in there and everything.
God, it's so gorgeous.
Yeah. All right, let's do Q&A for a little bit here.
All right.
This is a shorter show than I thought it would be with the old Galaxy S5. All you people just hating all over that Galaxy S5. All right, let's go with our boy Taylor Wimberly. He's got
Taylor.
Wimbit. So, speaking of expectations for flagships, what will it take for HTC to impress you with the all-new HTC One unveiling? I don't know. I guess the rumor of it being this dual sensor, dual camera thing sounds kind of cool because you can maybe do some things with focus, maybe editing afterwards. But the only problem I have with that is the rumor that suggested it's still the same 4 ultra-pixel camera main sensor, and then there's a secondary one, and I don't want a 4-megapixel camera on my smartphone anymore. So that would kind of suck. But what could they do to impress us? Anybody have a... What could HTC do to make you want their new phone? Because Samsung did nothing to make any of you really want their new phone. So is there anything HTC could do?
Yeah, if there's 2 cameras on the back, then they better have something better than just like some type of 3D picture mode. Or
I was gonna say.
Yeah, like it better be something.
Like the Evo 3D, that was so great.
Exactly, it changed the world. At least I could see the world differently,
3D / fingerprint reader / heart rate monitor /
Oh god.
Yeah, fingerprint reader behind the display, QHD display, guys.
Yeah, now that we've actually seen
Sapphire.
a press render of the device, I don't know if there is anything that they can do to impress me. Like people. Yeah, some people like the body. I'm not really a fan of the body. I'll have to wait till I feel it, but it looks a little kind of smaller. There's the HTC black bar. So if I'm turned off from the hardware, then there's no way the software is gonna like bring me into and be like, oh my god. Like, yeah, I'm already not a fan of the all-new one. So they're gonna have to do something. They're gonna have to pull out all the stops to get me impressed. And I'll be there in March when they unveil it, and I'll be the first guy to question it. Be like, why?
I don't think you'll be the first. I'm pretty sure you're not going to be the first person in line.
Well, the thing is, there'll probably be 6 reviews of it before they unveil it because they can't keep anything secret at this point.
Yes.
Yeah. Does anybody have anything? And is there any way HTC can impress you with what we know and have seen and everything? I don't really have any. Although I will say, after going to the Galaxy S5 event, I kind of am excited for the new HTC One.
Yeah,
that's what I'm. If everybody's hating so much on the S5, then HTC doesn't really have to do as much as they did before Monday to impress people. If they came out and dropped all the specs that the S5 was supposed to have in their new one, oh man, people would.
Buyer's remorse. Buyer's remorse.
Yeah. Sorry, Eric.
No, I mean that was pretty much it. But
I was gonna say from now on, when flagships are coming out, we need to do a poll that says that before, like, are you excited for this device? And because the S5, people will be like, oh hell yeah, and then afterwards, oh hell no, like so. I just want to see what type of hype that leads up. Like people get so pumped, and then they just turn on it instantly.
Oh yeah.
They're just like, oh that device sucks, or it's not what I expected, blah blah blah. I mean, expectations are so high these days where I don't know if HTC, being the company that they are and having the marketing team they have, I don't know if they have a possibility in this market anymore. So, but we shall see.
We'll see.
But my expectations are so low.
After Monday, I think the door opened a little bit, and the fact that HTC's kind of been quiet on the marketing front makes me think that they're just kind of sitting back, gathering all of their resources for when it does launch, and then they can just blow the doors off the thing.
You mean scraping their pennies together and trying to get TV commercials going? Yeah, totally.
Trying to find how many interns they can keep unpaid to get all this stuff done.
Totally.
I mean, they're going to have to, if they really want to blow the doors off of it, they're going to have to back it up with a really good device. And I feel like the camera is public enemy number one. If they come out and say 4 ultra pixel again, people are going to, you're probably going to see somebody walk out of the room.
I'll flip a table. Nope.
So, I don't know. I think before Monday, if you had asked if HTC had a chance to like make a dent in Samsung, everybody would just immediately said no. But I feel like after, we got the reaction that we did, I feel like I'm saying there's a chance. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Kyle?
I think, I don't know. I like the software buttons, but other phones offer that too. I think that spec enthusiasts are going to be disappointed again, because I just have a feeling HTC has never really been on the bleeding edge when it comes to like SoCs and RAM. I bet you're going to see 2 gigabytes of RAM and the 801. So I don't know. I kind of agree with you, Tim. I don't love the aesthetic. I'm not a huge fan of what I've seen, but maybe they have a few surprises up their sleeve. We'll have to see. That'll probably come on the software front though, rather than the hardware.
Yeah, they'll have to do something with Sense, right, to make it
Yeah.
to
Make
really
it
add there.
good. No.
It's not too bad.
It's no worse than TouchWiz. Let's come on now.
Oh yeah,
Well,
no,
now
I
that
would
they've
take
added the
Blink
ability-
over TouchWiz.
Sorry.
Oh, the
Now-
new TouchWiz?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe
They've-
not over the new TouchWiz.
Now that they've allowed you to turn off blink feed, I'll concede that it's not that bad.
As
It's
Eric
not my
said,
favorite skin though.
I love
yeah,
Blink
as
feed.
Eric said, HTC has a chance. You know, with the people not being too stoked on the S5, this is it. This is HTC's time to shine. So we'll see if they take full advantage of that.
Yeah, they got to step up to the plate. You know, it's not going to be
Yes.
easy, but if they
Big
did their work,
copy,
and they,
HTC.
I could see it happening.
Here comes the buyer's remorse. Here it comes.
Buyer's remorse. Buyer's remorse.
Before I've even bought it, I'm gonna be, remorsing.
Good job, HTC. All right, this is probably a quick one, but Andrew says, does the back of the S5 seem like it might tear easily? What does the material feel like? So, I think it was Android Central maybe had some in their pictures, like the top corner of the blue one they kept taking pictures of totally had this giant chunk taken out of it. So
was
somebody
ours,
obviously
too.
dropped it, and it just looked like it might not hold up all that well. It just feels a little bit softer. The good comparison really is to the 2012 Nexus 7. It feels just like that, I think. So that I would consider that back to be semi-soft. So I don't know if it'll hold up quite as well. It might not take a drop as easy. Although if you, well, I guess it depends on where you drop it on. I don't know what to tell you there. We'll try to put it through some tests to see, but it was kind of soft. And once I saw that picture that looked all scrapey.
Well, yeah, I mean, it feels like the Nexus 7, the 2012 one. I mean, it kind of feels like that.
Yeah, it feels just like that.
And there was a big scratch right in the same spot on ours. We took a picture of that, and I enhanced, and it was like almost same. It was like a big scratch right along that top side, and I was like, this looks janky as hell. So
I mean, you kind of got to know what you're going into, though. You know, we all had the Nexus 7 2012, and you feel that back, and you're not going to be tossing it around all over the place.
yeah, step one, don't drop phone.
Especially Samsung is the king of like, oh, I'm going to give you a case that replaces the back of your phone. So I highly doubt that like 25% of the people that buy the S5 are even going to still have that, backside that it ships with.
Yeah. So
Here's
there's
an
that.
interesting one. How about this one?
Okay.
Who is worse off, HTC, Motorola, or Sony?
HTC. They have no company. They have no company backing them. They're screwed. They're gonna at least Motorola has like Lenovo to fall back on, right? Lenovo's just gonna pump tons of money into them. They're gonna take them to different overseas markets. They have a game plan.
Okay, so
HTC
take
doesn't have some
Motorola
game
out
plan.
then. Who's worse
Okay.
off, HTC or Sony?
HTC.
Sony just announced today they're laying off all sorts of people,
Yeah.
like closing stores, and so Sony
Why wouldn't
not
they?
doing any
Sony as
better.
a corporation is in terrible shape.
Yeah.
They had to sell their computer business.
Yep.
Downsize. Really, I think the PlayStation thing is propping them up at this point. That's all that's really propping.
Well, they should just
Yeah, I think so.
downsize and just focus
And the
on
movie
the
studio
PlayStation
too,
then.
right?
Yeah, like
Oh, yeah, they do
HTC
lots of
ain't got
stuff.
no PlayStation. HTC has like nothing. They don't have a crutch. Like that's just the way I see it. I realize that Sony has been around a long time, and they're trying to evolve into something that's more profitable. And the world is changing with consumer electronics. Sony's not the name it once was. So the way I see it, HTC is worse off. I like HTC. I don't want to keep hating on HTC because I like them.
Yeah,
I like
I'm the same way.
I
you
like
know?
their hardware. I just
Yeah, but you guys think the new HTC One looks terrible. What are you talking about?
I
liked their hardware. I just,
Right.
dual cameras. Come on, dude, you're joking. Get me a break.
Dual
Right,
cameras.
I want to cap that little segment of video there, and if Tim ends up owning the M8 because the video cameras do something really awesome, I want to
Dude,
just replay that.
If it's totally legit, I'll be the first one to call myself out on Twitter. You tool! You said you weren't gonna like it.
Tweet at yourself.
Yeah. So either way.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as Tim. I really like HTC. It's just from a realist perspective, they're really screwed right now unless they get something going their way. I hate to see them in this position, but
yeah, we don't want to see them with their backs in the corners. They made the first Nexus device. I was in love with HTC for a long time. Me love HTC long time.
Oh God. Wow.
And it just sucks to see him in such bad shape, I have so much coffee in me. I'm sorry.
You apparently do.
I'm on New York time still.
Yeah, I don't know who I think's worse off. Probably HTC just because they have less. I know Sony's crumbling, but they do have all these other divisions and things that kind of could help.
They have sweet cameras.
HTC has phones and they can't sell them for whatever reason. All right, here we go.
Oh, yeah.
I have a cracked Droid Razr Max 2011. Should I wait to see what comes out or jump on the GS5?
Ooh.
Well, you should wait because HTC will announce whatever they've got before the GS5 comes out. So don't pre-order the GS5. At least wait until the one is announced and then make your decision.
And then he also asked if there was going to be a Prime model of the Galaxy S5. I feel like that's...
All right, yeah, so do you guys think, there is that question out there. So do you guys think there is legitimately going to be a Galaxy S5 Prime or really elite high-end model?
Definitely.
F-Series,
Yeah, I think so as
F350.
well.
We've seen the benchmarks.
We have seen the benchmarks.
I believe it. I just love the hype. I love the hype beast.
I just
Live on the hype, man.
You can't trust benchmarks, so.
Can't
Really?
trust
always
you.
trust them.
Yeah, why not? I'm in a position. I'm not in a position
anyone's
to be
guess.
hurt by the fact that no GS5 Prime is released. I hope there's tons of devices out there. More options for me and buyers out there alike.
Why do we always go to Prime? Why is it always remember when the
Because
Galaxy
Prime
Nexus
is
coming
such
out?
a-
It's the
yeah,
Nexus
the Nexus
Prime.
Just because, think about that sweet little Android figurine we had there for a while.
Yeah.
That looked like the Prime truck.
Still have that in
was
their
awesome.
icon for
Yeah.
comments.
Yeah, that was
so.
awesome.
I don't know.
I think that I don't see any way that Samsung doesn't follow up this kind of mediocre S5 announcement.
This mid-range S5.
Well, that's not me. That's not me saying this because I don't really have an opinion on it at this point. It's just from what I've been hearing, people are pretty disappointed with it. I don't see that there's any way that they don't follow it up with something where they just throw every single dollar that they have before they make it all back the next day into.
But a couple months later, seriously?
I mean,
Yeah, it's such a bad
the
move.
Bionic. Let's talk about Bionic owners. They got they are on top of the list of month
They
later
hate
get screwed.
Bionic owners still hate life, and rightfully so.
That was the best phone ever for about a week.
I want to know if anyone still has their Bionic.
I hope.
Oh,
not.
Yeah.
they've all
We need
died.
that in the chat. Do you own a Bionic? Let's see what the
We have
delay
one
is.
yes, I think.
There's like a 20-second delay, so you got.
There is. It's like a 20-second. All right.
I
Any other
saw
questions
one
you guys
yes,
want to
though.
tackle?
Let's see.
A lot of them are stuff we've kind of covered. All those, I thought this one was funny. How much will LG copy Samsung for their next flagship? I have no idea, but Tim and I sort of had like a running bet going this week, like when the LG press release was going to come out and how long or when before or after Samsung announced their phone. And we got like 3 within a day. None of them were anything important though. They weren't trying to announce something new. It was just a bunch of medium range crap.
Yeah, I'm
Right.
surprised they didn't announce OIS++ or something, right?
Right. Like we were waiting for it. It was just this joke we had running all week.
We just had somebody ask if Motorola made the Bionic. That's how small of an impact the Bionic had on the world. Wow.
Oh, did anybody say they have the Bionic? I didn't even
No,
look.
not yet.
No.
What's a bionic?
I see. Oh, you said yes, Eric. Yeah, no one knows. What's a Thunderbolt? I don't know. Most of these other questions we've kind of covered. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about, or we could just wrap up?
I'm not seeing anything too important. Not that none of these questions are bad or anything, but it's kind of stuff we've already talked about.
Yeah. Like this guy
Someone
wants
asked
to
about-
know.
Sorry.
Oh, he just said, "Well, do you think Samsung will ever push Tizen to the S5?" I don't really think
I don't see
so.
that happening.
While that report from Recode a couple of weeks ago that said Samsung and Google are all buddied up now was just definitely not confirmed by any means, I do believe that, and I don't think that Samsung's going to run away from Android. I definitely don't think they would put Tizen on their flagship phone. I just don't think it's a smart move.
If that weren't true, I mean, the Galaxy S5 would have that magazine UI, so...
Right.
Someone asked if the new Galaxy S5 UI is quote-unquote janky. Well, I actually kind of quoted it, but that's my word. So, and no, actually, TouchWiz is reborn, and it is amazing. I've got to tell you.
I don't know that I'd go amazing, but it's a
Come
lot
on.
better than it was.
It's amazing. Did you see it? You were there. It looks better
saw
than
it.
Sense. I mean, it has like the Kit Kat feel with the white. I think it looks great, and it's
It's such
performed
an
well.
improvement. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge improvement.
There wasn't really too much lag.
Yeah.
I thought I'm really excited to get my hands on it.
All right.
And
here's,
then-
here's
oh,
one. This
go.
guy says, "I own a Bionic, sitting in my drawer, never to be turned on again."
Yeah,
Yeah.
good.
That
It's in
sounds
jail
about
for
it.
the rest of its life.
So yeah. I don't know. Anything else? Any other last minute thoughts?
What headphones is Kellen using?
Oh. MKBHD referral on these.
Everyone. Thank God for Marquez. I got these sweet headphones. That's what everyone says, dude.
Yeah, everyone does. They are Audio Technica ATH M50Xs. They're the new ones with the removable cord that locks in place or whatever. Yeah, that's what they are. That's all I got.
Sweet.
Sweet. All right. Well, you guys want to wrap? Any other final words before we close her down? Anything?
Thanks for joining us, everyone. Really appreciate it. Ron should be back next week. Like, we're going to try and have 5 people. That's going to be great. We're just all just going to be talking at the same time, but
I
The
don't know if you
return
guys
of the
can handle
Ron.
that.
yeah.
We'll have to have a
Return of the
3-part
Sid.
episode.
Yeah, pretty. Oh, yeah.
Have
Thanks,
to.
Google Plus.
Yeah, thanks, G Plus. Love you, G Plus.
Love you.
All right, cool. Well, yeah, let's wrap up then. It's after
All right.
7.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us. Episode 51 done. We'll be back. Yeah, I believe we'll be back next week, and it will start hype beasting HTC's event, which Tim will be at NYC 25th, I believe.
Yeah, anyone in New York City, hit me up on Twitter. Let's hang out, dudes.
Except Dave Cover.
Let's hang out.
Let's hang out, homies. NYC. All right. Anyways, let's wrap. We're rambling now. So thanks again for joining us. Episode 51. Peace.
Adios.
Deuces.